Business Statistics, Chapter 3, Numerical Descriptive Measures. In this chapter, you will learn to describe the properties of central tendency, variation, and shape in numerical data, to calculate descriptive summary measures for a population, to construct and interpret a box plot, to calculate the covariance and the coefficient of correlation. Most descriptive statistics are used to get a sense of central tendency in the data and the amount of variation in the data. Central tendency is the extent to which the data values group around a central value. Variation is the amount of dispersion or scattering of values. Shape is the pattern of the distribution of values from lowest value to highest value. The mean or average is simply the sum of the values in a particular variable divided by the total number of observations. For example, if you want to know the average age of students in this class, I would add up everyone's age and divide by the number of students in the course. We use some Greek notation to show a mean. This letter right here is the letter sigma, and it's to show summation. X here is our variable, and I is the number of the variable, meaning is it the first observation, the second observation, or the last observation. Little n here is our sample size, and x bar is our representation of the mean. The mean is the most commonly used measure of central tendency because it's easy to use and calculate, but it does not always tell us the center. The mean can be affected by extremely large or small observations called outliers. Ideally, the mean would act like the graph on the left, sitting in the center. However, if we have a large value like 10, it can pull the entire mean up and off center. A different measure of central tendency that is immune to outliers is called the median. The median simply stands for middle. If you line up the numbers from smallest to largest, the median is the value in the middle such that 50% of the values are above it and below it. When we have an odd number of observations, the median is relatively easy to find. In the case of an even number of observations, we need to do a little more work and take the average of the two values that sit in the center. The mode is a third measure of central tendency. It comes from the French phrase à la mode, which means what is popular or in fashion. Therefore, the mode is the value or category that appears the most. For numerical values, you can have examples where there is no mode because each value appears only once. However, the mode is useful for categorical variables. For example, during an election, each candidate is a category within the variable of presidential candidates. The person who receives the most votes will be the president. That is, the candidate who is the mode will be the president. Here's a quick review of mean, median, and mode. Here is a small sample of housing prices for 5 homes. The sum value of these 5 homes is $3 million. If we divide this by 5, we get that the mean home price is $600,000. Since we have an odd number of homes, the middle value will be the median. We find this position by taking the sample size, 5, adding 1, and dividing by 2. In this case, it's position 3. The value in the third position is the median, which in this case is $300,000. The mode is simply the value that appears the most often. In this case, we have 2 homes with the same price, $100,000. Which measure to choose? The mean is generally used, unless extreme values exist. The median is often used when you wish to minimize impact of extreme values. For example, median home prices may be reported for a region. It is less sensitive to outliers. In some situations, it makes sense to report both the mean and the median. What about the mode? The mode is primarily used to represent the most popular choice in a category setting, e.g. favorite team, state. However, it can be useful with numerical data when the distribution is lumpy, that is, it has several peaks. In summary, mean, median, and mode are our most common measures of central tendency. In this class, we will heavily use the mean.